Have you ever felt that sudden panic, the urgent need to find a bathroom right now? Maybe you've experienced an embarrassing moment where you couldn't hold it in, and it left you feeling frustrated or even ashamed. If you're a woman over 70, dealing with bladder leaks, or those unpredictable urges that seem to come out of nowhere, my modern and unstoppable seniors, you are definitely not alone. Here's the truth. Many women think bladder leaks are just a normal part of aging, something to hide or quietly accept. But what most people don't realize is that your bladder's health is deeply connected to daily habits. Small things you do without thinking can either help protect your bladder or quietly make leaks worse. This video isn't about embarrassment or shame. It's about awareness. Awareness that empowers you to take control and make real changes. We're going to explore 8 common habits many women over 70 are doing every day that may be making bladder leaks more frequent and frustrating. These habits are subtle, often overlooked, and sometimes passed down as normal ways to cope. But medical experts warn these behaviors could be blocking your path to relief. If you've ever felt discouraged or worried about wetting your pants, you deserve to know that things can improve. There are simple, actionable changes that can help you feel more confident, more in control, and less anxious, whether you're at home, out with friends, or laughing over a good joke. Stay with me, because some of these habits might surprise you, and a couple might be the ones you've been doing the longest. Once you recognize them, you can begin to reclaim your bladder health and freedom. Let's start this journey together, right now. Habit number 1. Ignoring the urge to go. It might feel like a small thing, maybe even smart, to hold off going to the bathroom when the urge strikes. Maybe you're trying to avoid too many trips, or waiting until you're home or in a better place. But for my modern and unstoppable seniors, holding in your urine for too long can quietly damage your bladder health over time. Here's why. Every time you ignore that signal, your bladder stretches beyond what it's naturally designed to handle. At first, this might seem harmless, but as this becomes a habit, your bladder muscles get weaker. The messages between your bladder and brain start to get confused. What used to be a 5-minute warning can shrink down to seconds. Your bladder loses tone and its ability to hold urine reliably. That sudden, strong urge. It's your bladder telling you, "I can't wait anymore." For women over 70, this is especially tricky. Aging naturally slows down your body's reflexes. That once comfortable warning window narrows, making it harder to respond in time. And if your muscles are used to holding for hours, only to empty all at once, they may not work well when you need them most. It's not just muscles, your brain plays a big role too. If you keep tuning out those signals, your brain gets used to ignoring them. Then, when you finally do need to listen, it might be too late, leading to leaks at the worst moments. Many seniors hold urine out of good intentions. "I'll wait until I get home," or "I don't want to be a bother." But ironically, this habit can cause more bother down the road, making leaks more frequent and urgent. The good news, you can retrain your bladder. Try using the bathroom every 2 to 3 hours, even if you don't feel a strong urge. This keeps your bladder muscles active without overstretching them, and helps rebuild those important brain-bladder connections. Small changes like this add up. Over time, you'll notice less urgency and fewer leaks. So the next time you feel the need, listen to your body. It's not an inconvenience, it's your body's way of helping you stay comfortable and dry. Habit number 2. Drinking too much fluid before bed. My modern and unstoppable seniors, there's nothing wrong with enjoying a warm cup of tea or a little water before you sleep. But what many people don't realize is that timing your fluids matters just as much as how much you drink. As we age, our bodies don't process fluids the same way they used to. The kidneys become less efficient, and our bladders hold less than they once did. That means the glass of water or herbal tea you sip an hour before bed. It might be the reason you're waking up at 2 a.m., urgently needing the toilet, or worse, not making it in time. Nighttime leaks don't just interrupt your sleep, they also chip away at your confidence and peace of mind. Some women even reduce their water intake during the day out of fear of nighttime accidents, which creates a dangerous cycle of dehydration and bladder irritation. Here's what doctors recommend instead. Front-load your hydration. That means drinking the majority of your water earlier in the day between waking up and mid-afternoon. Then, slowly reduce your intake as the evening goes on. If you're used to sipping something right before bed, switch it to at least 1 to 2 hours earlier and keep it light. If you take medications at night and need a drink to wash them down, that's okay. Just use the smallest amount of water needed. And if you're still waking up with urgency despite limiting fluids, it may be worth tracking what you're drinking and when. Also, consider how your diet affects this. Some foods are higher in water content, like fruits, soups, and watery vegetables. These are healthy, but still count toward your total fluid intake, especially in the evening. Making these adjustments doesn't mean giving up comfort or your nightly routine. It means respecting your body's limits and giving your bladder a break when it needs it most. During rest, when you wake up dry and rested, it's not just physical comfort, it's a quiet kind of freedom. And it begins with something as simple as timing your last drink. Habit number 3, consuming hidden bladder irritants. Now, this one catches a lot of my modern and unstoppable seniors off guard because it's about things we eat and drink every day. Sometimes even the things we believe are healthy or comforting. Certain foods and beverages act like irritants to your bladder lining. They don't just make you go more often, they can increase urgency, leaks, and nighttime trips to the bathroom. Let's start with the big ones, caffeine and alcohol. These are diuretics, which means they make your body produce more urine. But more than that, they also overstimulate the bladder. So your morning cup of coffee or that evening glass of wine might be setting you up for more frequent leaks than you realize. Next up, acidic and spicy foods. Tomatoes, citrus fruits, vinegar, hot peppers. These might be fine in moderation, but for some senior women, they trigger bladder spasms or irritation. That leads to the dreaded gotta go now feeling, even when your bladder isn't full. Then there are artificial sweeteners, often found in sugar-free gum, diet sodas, or low-calorie snacks. These can irritate the bladder lining for many people and lead to more frequent urges or accidents. Even chocolate has caffeine and can act as a mild irritant. We're not saying you need to give it all up, just be aware. If leaks are getting worse, try reducing one of these irritants for a few days and notice how your body responds. A simple way to track this is to keep a bladder diary. Write down what you eat and drink and when leaks happen. After a few days, patterns usually start to show. You might notice, oh, every time I eat spaghetti with tomato sauce, I get up twice that night. That's valuable insight you can act on. This habit isn't about restriction, it's about awareness. Once you know what your body reacts to, you can make smart, empowering choices that keep you dry, comfortable, and in control. Habit number 4, poor posture and how it quietly weakens your bladder control. My modern and unstoppable seniors, posture isn't just about standing tall or looking confident, it actually plays a surprising role in how your bladder works. When you sit or stand with a slouched spine, especially for long periods, you're putting pressure on the lower abdomen. That pressure can push down on the bladder and pelvic floor muscles, the very muscles that are supposed to help you hold urine in. Over time, this added strain weakens them, leading to more frequent leaks, even during mild activity like walking, laughing, or sneezing. Think about it. How do you usually sit when you're watching TV, or scrolling through your phone, or eating dinner? Most of us tend to slump forward without even realizing it. That rounded back, that tucked-in pelvis, it's not just bad for your spine. It's quietly interfering with your core and bladder function. And it's not just sitting. Standing with your shoulders hunched or leaning too far forward also compresses your abdominal space, again pressing down on the bladder. But here's the good news. Improving posture is one of the simplest and most powerful changes you can make at any age. You don't need fancy equipment or intense exercise routines. It starts with awareness. Here's a simple tip. When you're sitting, imagine a string pulling the top of your head gently toward the ceiling. Keep your shoulders relaxed and down, your feet flat on the floor, your hips slightly above your knees. And most importantly, let your belly expand when you breathe. This upright, neutral position does more than look good. It supports your bladder, reduces pressure on your pelvic floor, and helps those muscles do their job. Adding a few minutes of light, core strengthening, like seated pelvic tilts or gentle bridges, can reinforce the habit. But even if you just correct your posture while doing daily tasks, you'll begin to notice subtle improvements in how often you feel the urge and how strong your hold feels when you do. You don't need to be a yoga expert or a fitness buff. Just a few posture corrections each day can help restore control, comfort, and confidence. Habit number 5. Unknowingly training your bladder the wrong way. My modern and unstoppable seniors, did you know your bladder learns from your routine, even the unconscious parts of it? That's right. Just like muscles or memory, your bladder forms habits based on how often you go, how you go, and even when you go, whether you actually need to or not. And sometimes, without meaning to, we train it to send the wrong signals. Let's start with a common one, going to the bathroom just in case. Maybe you're about to leave the house, head to the store, or go to bed, so you think, I'll go now, just in case I need to later. But if your bladder wasn't actually full, you've just taught it to expect shorter and shorter intervals between trips. Over time, this can make your bladder more sensitive, leading to urges when it's only partially full. That means more trips to the bathroom, more urgency, and more frustration, especially when you're out and about. On the flip side, pushing or straining while urinating can also be harmful. Some women feel like they need to force the urine out quickly, especially if they're in a hurry or trying to empty fully. But this can disrupt the bladder's natural coordination and weaken the pelvic floor muscles over time. Here's another hidden habit: hovering over the toilet seat. Many women do this in public restrooms to avoid contact with the surface. Totally understandable, but hovering keeps your pelvic muscles tense, which makes it harder for your bladder to fully empty. And an incompletely emptied bladder increases the chance of leaks, especially with movement or activity later. So what can you do instead? Only go when you truly feel the urge, not just in case. Sit fully on the toilet. Even in public places, you can use seat covers or tissue for hygiene. Relax your shoulders, breathe deeply, and allow your body to release urine without pushing or straining. These small shifts retrain your bladder to follow its natural rhythm. They reduce unnecessary urgency and help your body respond more calmly to the real signals, not the ones we accidentally created. And they give your pelvic muscles a better chance at doing their job when it matters most. These may sound simple, but over time, they make a powerful difference, turning confusion and leaks into clarity and control. Habit number 6, ignoring constipation, a hidden cause of bladder leaks. My modern and unstoppable seniors. Let's talk about something nobody enjoys discussing, but it quietly affects millions of women: over 70 constipation. Yes, we're still talking about bladder leaks. But stay with me, because your bowels and your bladder are much more connected than most people realize. Your bladder and rectum are neighbors. They sit right next to each other inside your pelvis, sharing space and pressure. So when you're constipated, when stool builds up and the bowel becomes distended, it doesn't just affect your digestion. It presses on the bladder, reducing the space it has to expand. That pressure causes the bladder to send out urgency signals much sooner. And it also puts more strain on the pelvic floor muscles, which now have to work harder to control both bowel and bladder function at once. Time. This extra strain leads to weaker muscles and more leaks. Constipation can also interfere with how your bladder empties. When there's too much pressure from a full bowel, the bladder may not fully release urine. This leads to incomplete emptying, frequent urges, and even sudden gushes of leakage when you stand up, laugh, or move around. And here's something most people don't realize: even mild or occasional constipation can have this effect. You don't have to be painfully backed up for your bladder to feel the impact. If you're going fewer than 3 times a week, straining regularly, or your stools are hard and dry, your bladder is probably feeling the consequences. The fix isn't just about laxatives or fiber supplements. It's about building a routine that keeps your bowels moving gently and regularly. Drink enough water throughout the day, not just at once, but gradually. Eat high-fiber foods like fruits, vegetables, oats, and flax seeds. Get up and move. Even a 10-minute walk a few times a day helps get things flowing. Don't ignore the urge to have a bowel movement. Just like with urination, delaying it can train the muscles to hold too long by treating constipation as part of your bladder health. You're not just easing one problem, you're preventing another. And confidence. Habit number 7, depending too much on bladder pads and protective products. My modern and unstoppable seniors, it's completely understandable to want a safety net. Pads, liners, and protective underwear are everywhere, and they can offer a sense of security when leaks happen unexpectedly. But relying on them too much can actually make bladder control worse over time. Why? because pads can sometimes encourage a set-it-and-forget-it mindset. When you feel protected by pads, you might start to ignore bladder signals or avoid working on habits that improve control. Wearing pads constantly, even when you don't have an urgent need, can reduce your awareness of when your bladder is actually full. That disconnect weakens your brain-to-bladder communication, making urgency more unpredictable. Additionally, some women begin to limit their activity or social life because they assume leaks are inevitable and just something to manage passively. This can lead to less movement, which weakens pelvic muscles and reduces overall bladder strength. Of course, pads are helpful in many situations, especially on days when you expect extra urgency or during travel. But the key is to use them as a tool, not a crutch. Here's how to use pads wisely. Use pads only when necessary, for example, during longer outings or special events. Focus daily on bladder training and strengthening exercises rather than masking symptoms. Stay active and move regularly to maintain pelvic muscle tone. Practice mindfulness about your bladder signals. Check in with yourself before reaching for a pad automatically. Remember, your goal is to regain control and confidence, not just cover up leaks. Pads can be part of your strategy, but they shouldn't replace healthy bladder habits. When you combine awareness, strength building, and smart pad use, you'll feel more empowered and less anxious, ready to enjoy life without the constant worry of accidents. Habit number 8, skipping pelvic floor exercises. The powerhouse behind bladder control. My modern and unstoppable seniors. Here's a truth that many overlook. Your pelvic floor muscles are like the foundation of a house. If they're weak or neglected, everything else starts to wobble. These muscles support your bladder, uterus, and bowels, and they control the opening and closing of the urethra. When they're strong and responsive, they keep leaks at bay and help your bladder hold urine comfortably until you're ready. But after the natural muscle tone decreases, and without regular care, those pelvic muscles can become weak, less coordinated, and slow to react. This leads to sudden urges, stress leaks like when you cough or sneeze, and the frustrating feeling that you can't hold it in. Some women avoid pelvic floor exercises because they think it's too late to help, or because they're unsure how to do them properly. Others get discouraged if they don't see immediate results. Here's the good news: it's never too late to start. Pelvic floor training can improve muscle strength, endurance, and coordination at any age, and with consistent effort, it can dramatically reduce leaks. Start with simple Kegel exercises. Gently squeeze and lift the muscles you use to stop urinating. Hold for a few seconds, then release. Repeat 10 times, 3 times a day. Focus on quality over quantity. Slow and controlled contractions build strength best. Consider working with a pelvic health physiotherapist if you need guidance or have specific concerns. Combine exercises with breathing and relaxation techniques to reduce tension and improve effectiveness. Remember, your bladder control isn't just about the bladder itself. It's about the entire pelvic support system working in harmony. When you commit to caring for these muscles, you're investing in your independence, dignity, and freedom from fear of leaks. It's a powerful habit that can transform your daily life and boost your confidence. Every step of the way, my modern and unstoppable seniors, now that we've uncovered the 8 habits that might be quietly sabotaging your bladder health, it's time to take charge. Remember, bladder leaks aren't a sentence, they're a signal, a message from your body that something needs attention. By recognizing these habits and making small, consistent changes, you can reclaim your confidence, your freedom, and your peace of mind. Start by picking just one habit to focus on this week. Maybe it's honoring your urge to go instead of holding on too long, or starting gentle pelvic floor exercises. Celebrate each step forward, no matter how small. You deserve to enjoy your days without worry, whether you're laughing with friends, going for a walk, or simply relaxing at home. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with other women in our community. At Wellness for Modern Seniors, we're here to support you with real advice that works, backed by science and compassion. Stay strong, stay positive, and keep moving forward. Your best years are still ahead.